Welcome back now to a complex 7-part conspiracy thriller called The Shadow Line. Its premise and style have already drawn comparisons with the American hit series The Wire.
Christopher Eccleston plays a man with rather dodgy connections who's been trying to go straight by running his own business, but he needs one last big deal to provide for himself and his wife, who has early onset dementia. Christopher's here with us. Morning, Christopher.
Morning.
He's grown a beard.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about
just
in a
back
minute.
there, actually. Very quickly.
That's a lot of testosterone.
I shaved this morning.
Before we speak to him, here he is in tonight's episode.
Ooh.
Lots of hardball conversations. That's actually from not quite. It's introducing your
My character,
there.
I think it's from a later episode.
But sort of there's a lot of intense talk in this series, isn't there?
Stanley Townsend, who plays Bullcat Babor, the entire crew were terrified of him as the character. Yeah.
Is he a lovely man off it?
He's a lovely man off it, but he is terrifying as the character.
So did he come on? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you did. Did he come on set as the man?
Stanley does a little bit of that. Yeah. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. More than me.
Yeah.
I'm doing crosswords and phoning my agent.
But you are a dodgy character. And we've only seen the first episode. It is a complex thriller. It does take a while to get into because you're not quite sure where the lines are. Is that the point? You're not sure whether you're on the side of good or evil?
That's correct. The lines within the characters. It's the investigation of a murder. Harvey Ratton is murdered, and it's investigated by the police and by the criminals. And we're not sure as an audience whether the police have done it, the criminals have done it, or it's a combination of the two.
Yes.
What it really is, it's an examination of character. We meet a whole array of characters who are on the shadow line between good and evil. And my character, for instance, Joseph Bede, is a criminal. He's trafficking drugs, but he's deeply in love with his wife, played by Leslie Sharp, who has early onset Alzheimer's. And everything he does financially is for her.
Yeah.
So the audience are presented with a real problem, a dilemma. How do we feel about this man? As we do with Chiwetel's character.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're on one side of the line. Chiwetel Ejiofor, as the detective, is on the other side of the line. Let's introduce ourselves to him. So Chiwetel Ejiofor earlier has been taking a bullet, which is still lodged in his head, and he has a big memory loss.
He has amnesia.
And he makes discoveries.
The spine of the story really is Chiwetel trying to understand what happened to him and in fact whether he is a good or a bad man. He has set himself up as a white knight, but he finds some money in his wardrobe and he thinks he may have taken a bribe.
Fascinating stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of it, isn't it? I mean, you said it's about the people who live on the shadow line, that whether they're good or evil, but it also sets up the premise of whether there is good or evil, or whether everybody's a mixture of both.
Absolutely.
Not just these characters.
Whether the two poles actually exist.
Yes, yeah.
And each episode we meet new characters, and there is a huge revelation in each episode leading to the final one, where all is revealed in a fantastic scene on a moor, I think somewhere in Yorkshire or somewhere.
What distinguishes this, though, very strongly from other, not cops and robbers dramas, but sort of, law and order dramas, is this is very much a drama in the truest sense of the word. I mean, the opening scene, where the two policemen lasts a long time because there's a lot of acting.
Yeah, there's a lot of acting. It is not dominated by the procedural element. It's dominated by the texture of the characters and their dilemmas. It really is a character piece as much as just an A to Z of a crime.
It builds up little things. So you'll see, for example, Chiwetel's character getting out of the car, and then there's a shot of his shoes and a shot of him doing that to his ear, and it takes a long time for you to just piece together, who do I think this character is?
It has its own specific pace, its own specific style. It's a noir piece. It's a conspiracy thriller.
Yeah. But the other shots are really extraordinary because the way it's directed, it could almost, there's some scenes you're in, you could be looking at a stage.
Yeah.
You know, it's a straight, wide shot, two characters, one either side, the way you're mirrored, and it's almost like a live presentation. This is all down to Hugo Blick.
Hugo Blick, who
wrote it, directed it, and produced it.
And would have catered if he could. The visual style of it was very carefully chosen, and it is cinematic.
Yeah. I remember when we had the actors on from The Wire, and we alluded to it in the introduction, and that as well was a drama that took a while to, and it had so much, there was so much complexity, and it was so different from anything else that you'd seen that you had to take your time with it, I suppose. Are you flattered by the comparisons with a drama like that? Is it?
Yeah, we are flattered by the comparisons, but I think people will find that it is itself, and you know, will stand alone. But it's very important to say that it does have its own specific pace, and we're so used to having kinetic stuff, you know, shoved at us, and this really relies on the audience's patience, intelligence, and imagination.
It does.
More paranoid than
It's
The
a
Wire,
slow
too.
burn.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a
Slow
slow
burn.
but it burns very
Good point.
nicely.
Yeah.
Thanks very
Thank
much,
you.
Christopher.
Nice to
you very
see you,
much.
Christopher.
Thank you.
Shadowline begins tonight, 9 o'clock BBC2, and it is fascinating
Yeah,
television.
absolutely. That